So UFC 301 has just concluded, and God, does this one sting. For those who had caught my full card breakdown for this event, I had a 10-fight parlay going, $25 to win $550, and I hit every single pick except the Anthony Smith fight. Petrino posed a lot of problems to Smith on the feet, but that double leg takedown, that was not it. That was not very good. The one thing Anthony Smith had in this matchup was his jiu-jitsu. He is very good with submissions. So to me, the game plan was very simple. Avoid the grappling exchanges with Smith at all costs. Petrino is huge. He's jacked. He's girthy. Now, he would have been great at defending takedowns, but he decided to initiate the exchange. I guess it's on me. But other than that, I am proud to say the event, more or less went how I thought it was going to go. I was shocked before the event, and I'm still shocked now after the event that Jose Aldo was the underdog going into his fight with Jonathan Martinez. That just didn't make any sense to me. Martinez is nasty with those inside calf kicks. There is no doubt about that, but he's going up against Jose Aldo, who has the best calf kick defense in the entire UFC. And in this matchup, he's just the way better boxer. The way he mixes in his boxing with his Muay Thai stance, he is the perfect counter to a guy like Martinez. The odds makers, I do not know what they were thinking on this one. I really do not. But all of this pales in comparison to the main event, Steve Erceg versus Pantoja. And the issue we're running into when it comes to this fight is an issue that plagues the sport of MMA. It always has. It is continuing to do so unless somebody makes a change. And what this issue is, the scoring criteria, it is not understood. It just simply isn't. It seems like every single pay-per-view, there's at least one fight that causes this huge debate on the judging criteria. And this debate, no matter how many times we've had it, it always stays consistent. There is always a large group of people saying, hey, that guy got takedowns and he got control time, and therefore he won the fight. Now, of course, takedowns and control time is completely irrelevant. But another more slight misconception I think is out there, and it's something that Daniel Cormier, of all people, actually brought up during the main event.
I mean, second round, third round, a lot of control by Pantoja. Yeah. But, right, damage is the first striking criteria.
And that is that damage is the number one criteria. Well, that's not exactly true. You always hear people say that the number one criteria is damage. Well, if you actually look at the scoring criteria, the number one thing judges are supposed to look at when deciding who won what round is effective striking / grappling. Both of those are number one. And with both of them, you're looking at actions that contribute to the potential end of the fight. With effective striking, it's defined as legal blows that have immediate or cumulative impact, with immediate weighing heavier. And with effective grappling, it's the successful execution of takedowns, submission attempts, reversals, and the achievement of advantageous positions that again produce immediate or cumulative impact to end the match, with a very, very important caveat here. It shall be noted that a successful takedown is not merely a changing of position, but the establishment of an attack from the use of the takedown. Top and bottom position fighters are assessed more on the impactful / effective results of their actions, more so than their positions. So, it does not matter if you're on bottom. It does not matter if you are on top. That is not what dictates whether you're winning or losing. The only thing that matters is if you are putting your opponent in danger. So, going through this fight, round 1 easily goes to Pantoja. I don't think anybody is arguing that. Round 2 was very close. Pantoja was able to get 2 takedowns, but he didn't do very much damage. He was able to get to mount briefly, which does count as effective grappling. But like I said, what we're judging them on is how much danger they're putting each other in, how close they are to ending the fight. And that sequence of getting into mount wasn't very close. Erceg was able to get on his side and hip escape back to a guard. Now, both of them landed some good shots, but to me it was very clear that Steve's shots were more impactful. The biggest shot that round was Erceg catching him with an elbow as he was blitzing in, which is just a great strategy for Pantoja's style. Now, Steve is extremely accurate with his boxing, but he doesn't have the most amount of power. Timing a right hand off Pantoja's blitzes usually would be ideal, but an elbow, it just causes more damage. So, like I said, it's a very close round, but per the judging criteria, as far as which fighter contributed more to potentially ending the fight, you have to go with Erceg for round 2. Round 3, up until a minute and 45 seconds left, Pantoja was winning the round. But nothing crazy significant landed, but Pantoja had some really good knees to the body, good punches to the body as well. But with a minute and a half left in the round, Erceg lands a good combination and then times a super clean elbow as Pantoja's coming in. It busted him up really bad. He then lands another combination before Pantoja shoots another takedown. There is no question. As far as strikes that contributed to the potential end of the match, that one was the most significant. What's so insane is Pantoja just walked right through it. I mean, he practically walked through every single strike Steve landed. It's insanely impressive to see how overpowered his chin is. Though, I will say, this probably isn't a style that's going to age very well. I mean, and Pantoja said this himself after the fight. Now, with the takedown, Pantoja almost took Erceg's back, which would be considered effective grappling, but he never got both hooks in. So it's classified just as control time. And then round 4, Pantoja practically takes the round off. Erceg wins that one easily. And now we move on to round 5, which I think was a lot closer than the last few rounds. The big controversy for this round was the takedowns that Steve was going for. And DC and Felder were both so shocked that he was trying to take Pantoja down. But the thing is, before he got to the UFC, he was very takedown, very grappling heavy in his fights. It is just part of his style. Now, ever since he's gotten to the UFC, he hasn't found as much success with it. His boxing is definitely his best win condition. But at the end of the day, takedowns is just part of his game. Of course he's going to go for them. But they still were a mistake. This time, Pantoja did do better work from being on top. He landed some good ground and pound. He got to mount. But again, I think Steve landed the more impactful shots. He was closer to finishing the fight than Pantoja was. Almost every single shot Pantoja landed was as Steve was moving away with the punch, while a lot of Erceg's shots were landing as Pantoja was running into them. And he timed another clean elbow that busted Pantoja up. Look, I'm sorry. I think Steve clearly won 4 rounds here. By definition, a robbery is a decision going to a guy that just 100% clearly didn't deserve it. Watching it live, I guess I can understand why you may be persuaded to say that Pantoja won some of the rounds. But that judge that gave him 4 rounds, that is a fucking disgrace. It is the biggest problem in the UFC today, that the judges who are trained on this judging criteria just don't, they just are not keeping, I don't know what to say. Other than the fact that even though they were trained on it, they don't know it. They've forgotten about it. But the one thing that was clear from this matchup was that, to me, Steve Erceg is the best flyweight in the world. He is a serious problem at this weight class. No flyweight can strike with him on the outside. And his defense on the ground, so good. I mean, Pantoja, so high level at taking the back, really high level with submissions, but Steve prevented all of it. And hey, since the flyweight division is pretty dead, give Erceg an immediate rematch. I mean, this is the first time an MMA YouTuber has made it to the UFC and challenged for a world title and should have won. They need to run this one back.